everyone, and welcome to another episode of CUNY Uncut, where we talk about anything and everything uncensored, unedited, and uncut. And thank you for putting in your applications to be the next host of CUNY Uncut for Season 5, sitting in this very chair. We're excited to take a look at all the applications and find out who's going to be next. In addition, I hope you're enjoying your spring break and you're enjoying the nice weather. But today we have a very interesting interview planned. Today we're going to be talking to an engineer who's making a better future through CUNY. Today we are talking to a first-generation, 3-time CUNY student and now alum. She started at LaGuardia Community College in Queens, where she received her associate's, and then transferred over to City College, where it wasn't quite her vibe, so she decided to stick with CUNY and enroll at City Tech, where she received her bachelor's in civil engineering and construction. She came to America just over a decade ago, graduated, and now has a full-time position at Langan Engineering. Without further ado, I'd like to give a warm welcome to Ritika Talwar.
Hi, David. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today.
Of course. Okay, well, let's get it going. CUNY student through and through. 3 times in CUNY, and we also on this show haven't had a chance to talk to too many engineers, so I'm excited to kind of learn more about the field, because anytime that I talk to any of, my engineer friends and stuff like that, they're completely out of my league. Everything that they say goes right over my head. So first, I kind of want to ask, what do engineers do?
Sure. So, everything. What don't we do? But there's so many different types of engineers that exist. Mechanical, civil, and within mechanical, civil, software, computer, there's so many different branches. I'll talk about what I do. I graduated with my associates in civil engineering and then my bachelor's in construction and civil engineering together. So per profession, I am a geotechnical engineer, which is a branch of civil engineering. But civil engineering mainly means once we get the design from the architect who works on the aesthetics and everything, we as civil engineers, structural engineers, make sure that the building is stable enough to be built or design it, just to make sure checking the loads it's safe enough for us to be inside it, basically.
Okay.
So that's the main gist.
Safe how, though?
That it's not going to fall down.
Okay.
If it's an earthquake, it doesn't just come shooting down on us. So that's something we take in consideration. We have to run many, many calculations, which I'm learning to do now at my full-time job. So, yeah.
So it's with the ground, I guess soil most of the time is what buildings are put on. Are there times where it's built on something other than that?
So a building is mainly supported by a foundation. And the foundation itself is made out of concrete, rebar, which is from steel, and piles, depending on what kind of soil it is. So the first thing is you pick a site, you figure out, you go out there. I will go out there and do testing. I will take samples, and then we'll send them back to the lab, and we'll figure out what kind of soil it is. If it's too loose, loose sand or something, if it's bad soil, which is mainly clay, it's not stable enough. So we have to, as engineers, design and come up with factors that can hold the building foundation and make it more stable.
Interesting. So I know that this has been a big topic in the past, how does, green and kind of making sure that this is safe for the environment, how does that play into your designs and how you do that? Sure.
So a company where I also work, it is very much into protecting the environment. We have a big environmental department. So we have to understand that we need to be looking forward to green infrastructure. We, as civil engineers, realize that there's a need for that, especially with the carbon footprint increasing so much. We as engineers and as a company and as an industry are trying to make a goal of ours to make more green infrastructure. So we're trying to use more green material, I would say, in our daily construction. There's so many materials now that produce less carbon footprint or less pollution that we've started to already incorporate in our building construction and have them even though they cost a lot of money, but the industry realizes there is a need for that, so we are going to pay for it.
Okay, good. I have to say good, and I'm happy to hear that, because that's been a worry for so long, and it seems like there's so many buildings going up. You know, that's something that I've always kind of had in the back of my head. So I'm glad to know that the future generation of civil engineers is working towards a better environment through their buildings. But it seems like such a niche interest to find yourself down that sort of path. How did you eventually come across it?
So, if you don't know, CTE high schools are a thing that are very big in the U.S., but a lot of people that I would talk to now at work, they're like, I didn't know that exists. So they are career and technical education high schools. And I moved to U.S. when I was in 8th grade. And I had to go to middle school, and the only spot that was available was in a very, very far middle school from my house. So first year in America, I did speak English, but not being able to understand because of the accent barrier did cause me very much anxiety, and my parents saw that. So when it came time to apply for high schools, they were like, apply to the ones that we live close to. So my mom made me pick the closest one to our house, and it was an engineering high school that I had applied to because I was like, I like math, let me just try it out. And it ended up being a CTE high school, and where I explored different types of engineering every single year of my high school. So freshman year, we did construction and finance engineering. We drafted plans. We learned about estimation costs. Sophomore year, we did electrical engineering. We learned about making breadboards and soldering, which was super cool.
Wow.
And then in junior year, we did civil engineering, where our teacher taught us like how bridges work mainly, and we made a balsa wood bridge as a group project.
Whoa.
So that was very exciting. I even like painted it up and everything to make it look like it was real steel. So very exciting. And then I realized then senior year I was class of 2020, so COVID. And then mid-year it was like, okay, like now I'm doing mechanical, but what do I do it? Like, what do I do when I'm applying to college? It was time to pick a college. And I was like, okay, you know what? Civil engineering is still very fresh in my mind. Let me just try it. And then I didn't receive any financial aid throughout my college journey, so I was like, community college is definitely what the move is. So I'm definitely gonna go to community college, even though I had already was like, you know what, I should just go to CCNY, start my career. I don't want to transfer. But then I found out that CCNY and LaGuardia share the same curriculum for the first 2 years. So I was like, why not just do it for cheaper? So I ended up going to LaGuardia, had the best first 2 years, even though they were mostly online. I still met great people that I'm still friends with today, even though we were online for like 80% of our college journey. And then we were together, and then I would text them all the time, and then we ended up meeting on graduation day.
Sweet.
So yeah, so it's just so nice to we finally we went through this journey all together, and now we're finally here. We made it. So it was a very nice thing. Now we're like, okay, yay, we did it. So yeah, so that's how I ended up in engineering, that I picked the closest high school to my house.
Wow. Sometimes that's just the luck of the draw, or I guess, whatever's closest, whatever's in reach is, I think, the better term for that. But your specific type of engineering, the geotechnical, that seems also incredibly niche. How did you stumble upon that?
So I was also in my second year, I would say, at City Tech, and I was taking the soil mechanics class, which is introduction to different types of soils, testing, stability, and everything. And I also had revamped the American Society of Civil Engineers chapter at City Tech the year before. And then it's an international organization, and they have a chapter within New York City, parts of New Jersey, and Long Island, and they have a university liaison committee that helps officers from different schools run their chapters. And they are young professionals, they are engineers full-time. So I actually went to my first meeting as an ASC officer representing City Tech at my current office. So it was like a full circle moment for me now that I'm here. So that's where I met my boss for the first time.
Oh, wow.
And it was crazy. I was like, hi, I'm Ritika. And I never knew that 2 years later she would be my boss. But within ASCE, you also have a practitioner advisor who is like an alumni from your school who helps your chapter kind of bring it back, since we were already building our chapter back. So he introduced himself to me, and we started talking. He's like, hey, what classes are you taking? I'm like, I'm taking soil. I'm really enjoying it. I love playing with my hands. I grew up playing with, like, I'm from India. Like, I played in the clay and everything. So it was very fun. And I was like, I'm taking soil. I really enjoy it. I love being outside. And then later that day, he texted me. He's like, hey, send me your resume. So I ended up sending him my resume. He used to be a geotechnical field engineer at another firm. And he ended up sending my resume to his old boss, and I ended up connecting with her, interviewed, and got an internship. And that's how I ended up in geotech, because I really ended up liking it, working with my hands, being outside on the field, not being stuck in front of a desk all day. So that's the best thing ever. So, yep. So that's how I ended up there.
I got to respect you for that, because I definitely respect, not wanting to be in front of a computer all day and stuff like that. But you got to respect all the other types of engineers as well, despite them.
Do.
But I also don't know all of them. Can you kind of inform me what other options there even were out there?
Sure. So from what I remember at City Tech, we had communication engineering, we had electrical, mechanical, there's computer, there's software. And at the end of the day, we do work together, all of us, because if I'm doing the building, I need electricity, and I need my machines to work. So that's where the mechanical engineer will come in. And then transmission lines that are utility lines that are going underground. Like, I will be digging the holes, but Con Ed electrical engineers will be coming up, and they'll be like, okay, yeah, this is where my line is supposed to go.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, we do all work together. In software engineering, that has like cybersecurity that you can do. IT is part of that they're needed everywhere. Like, my computer freezes like 3 times a day, and I'm like, please help me. And they're like, did you submit a ticket? I'm like, no. So, at the end of the day, we all work together. But those are some of the options out there. And I definitely recommend everyone to try and go to a CT high school if you're still deciding, or if your kid is deciding where to go or where you want them to go. And they are public schools, so, it's free to try it. And if you don't like it, you can always do something else.
It sounds like there's a lot of good opportunities there, to really get hands-on experience at such a young age, which can be really useful. But I also want to commend all the other options of engineers out there. It seems like there's a little bit of something for everybody. Maybe not for me, but y'all got it. It's really thankless work at the end of the day, it seems like, because, I don't know, anytime that I'm thinking of engineers, I'm thinking of people complaining to engineers. Why isn't this getting done? Why isn't it done? And it's like, these things can take time as well. And it's not that you're not working. It's that it's hard work to do. So.
No, I agree. Yeah. And thank you for understanding that, because people will be like, my dad will come up to me, and then we'll be driving, and he's like, that road has been under construction for years. Because we'll drive off the Van Beek, and I'm like, I just got my full-time job, Dad. Like, I don't know what they're doing out there. I'm not on that project. And he's like, what are they doing out there? What do you think they're doing? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, how long are they going to be done? I'm like, I have no clue. So, it takes time, especially because, again, like, our first motto is to have the welfare of society as our first priority, So we need to make sure everything is safe. We can't just build something, no matter what type of engineering you're doing. You need to put people's safety first.
Yeah, that has to be the priority, and I'm glad that it is. But I kind of wanted to transition over to your different transitions between schools and stuff like that.
Yeah.
3 times, 3 different CUNY schools, and not a lot of people can say that. Tell me about your transition first to City College from LaGuardia, and figuring out that kind of wasn't for you, and then, making that transfer over to City Tech.
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, City College and LaGuardia have the same first 2-year curriculum for the engineering school. So the Grove Engineering School, like, they have their own curriculum, and it's adapted by LaGuardia Community College and Hostos Community College. And I was like, okay, this is great. Like, once you graduate from LaGuardia or Hostos with your associates, you're automatically transferred into Grove School at CCNY, which is a great program for some people if you didn't know. You can go there for cheaper.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, like, let me go to LaGuardia. And I was still scared of, like, traveling too far, because Harlem is very far from where I used to live in Queens. And then I really liked LaGuardia, so I was like, I'm happy. And then I graduated, and then I went to City College, and then I realized, like, in a classroom full of like 500 kids. And I graduated COVID high school, had my first 2 years of college online. So it wasn't something I was prepared for, I would say. And I'm a person of I need like a personal connection, especially with my professor. Like I need to be able to have some face time with you. And being a student in that 500 student class, it didn't really feel like I was being able to stand out in a way. Like I was just like, like I'm one of the many, which is not bad. Again, City College is great, like beautiful campus, by the way.
Oh, gorgeous.
And I'm like, like it's a biology class also, and I had never like really been into bio like that, so I was like, I don't know if this is really for me. But the math classes that I was taking went great. But at the end of the day, like I'm a person that needs a community, so I tried being part of the community. I tried to join clubs, but at the end of the day, I was realizing that my commute was 2 hours one way. That was one thing. So I would just go to school, be there, come back, do the same thing again. So that's one thing that I was like, I don't know if I really like it. So I don't know. And then another thing was that I was seeing people and myself try really, really hard. And this is kind of like engineering itself, but like we tried really hard, but at the end of the day, we were not getting the results we wanted from our classes and courses. In terms of like, like we always want to score as much as we can, but engineering is just hard. And I was just like, like I want something more hands-on in my program. And like CCNY being very theoretical, they prepare you very well for like anything that you want to know about like engineering. Like you will remember it once you are graduated. But I just felt like it wasn't for me. I was trying to make friends, and then I felt like being a transfer student, everyone was just, in their own groups already. Like you've been here for 2 years, everyone knows everyone. So it's hard to be like a new person and trying to make space for yourself within another group. And it kind of felt like that I was restarting my life when I had moved to America again. So I was like, I didn't like that, so I don't want to go through that again. Let me try and see if I can go somewhere else. And I didn't know that City Tech had a civil construction program because I had only applied to mechanical. I didn't even realize after I applied. So funny thing, I applied to the mechanical program at City Tech, and after I applied, I was like, they have a construction engineering program? I didn't know about that. And I had already started at City Tech as a mechanical engineering major. So one semester I did mechanical engineering. I really enjoyed it. I still talk to the professors once I go back. They're like, why did you transfer out of mechanical? We need you back. So it's a great major, great industry if you ever want to join. Robots, my friend does that for a living now, and he's great at it. Like he's super smart. And I'm like, I don't get that. And then but yeah, super fun. And then I finally like talked to the dean at construction engineering department. I was like, I want to do this. I want to continue civil because again, the field aspect, I want to be outside. I want to be doing things with my hand. So I transferred out of mechanical to construction engineering at City Tech. So that's how I became a 3-time CUNY Explorer.
Wow. Well, I have to respect you for knowing yourself and knowing what your learning style is, because that really helps influence, your next decisions and where you wanted to go. And I'm very happy that you decided to stick within CUNY and you got a good experience out of it. But you also made that experience your own. You created your own community while you were at City Tech. You even restarted a club. Can you tell me about that process?
Sure, yeah. So when I had transferred City Tech and into construction engineering, I realized that there was already a club for the Construction Management Association of America. That's what the club is called, CMA. And so the major was basically split up between civil engineering and construction management. And I was like, okay, well, where's the civil engineering club? Like, we need something for ourselves, too. And then I talked to the dean. I'm like, hey, like, is there something we can do? And she was like, actually, we did have a club. It just died down because of like not much participation and COVID. So it's like, and then I figured out who the faculty advisor was. And I was like, knock, knock, like I'm here. I want to start the chapter. And at City Tech, within our department, we have a CMCE week, which is Construction Management Civil Engineering major. So one of our professors, she prepares like different type of events for a whole week. and we had a panel, and then someone who is a professional engineer, he was like, you guys used to have an ASC chapter, what happened? And I was like, oh, we're thinking about starting it. He's like, you definitely should do it. So me and my friend who became the VP and the co-founder of the club again, we got together and we started the club, and then we grew the participation from 0 to 40 plus within that first year. So I'm very proud of the community that we have built at City Tech and within ASCE at City Tech. So yeah, I'm very happy.
Well, I have to commend you for that. If anybody has started or restarted a club at CUNY, you know how difficult that is. I'm sure that process was almost a nightmare.
Yes.
But I commend you for that. And I know that, even though you graduated last June. So first off, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But I know that you're still hanging around and helping out the next generation and being a mentor. Can you tell me a little bit about that as well?
Sure, yeah. So within ASCE at City Tech, we have we have certain competitions that our club does. And one of them is the main one, which is Steel Bridge, which we did for the first time after 7 years, I would say, at City Tech. And then we had a bridge, which is what I'm very proud of. And then we also competed in 2 new competitions, surveying and construction management. So in surveying, we placed second. We did it for the first time ever. I was very proud of our students.
What is surveying?
So surveying, very good question. So basically, everywhere we go, we have different elevations. As engineers, before I design, I need to know what the elevation is. If I'm building something here, but my building ends all the way there and it's on the end of the mountain, like how will I figure out
equate for the hill, essentially,
exactly.
Building into a mountain.
Exactly.
Think about it that way.
So
okay.
if we need to cut and fill, if we need to cut something to make sure that it's on the same level and it's properly leveled, that's
and it doesn't
basically
fall.
Exactly. that's where surveys play a big role.
Okay.
And it is a more of an on-site thing that you need to go outside with your equipment and you need to take all types of measurements. And that's what our students did for the first time ever. And we got second place, which I was very proud of. And this is our second year trying to go back to the competitions and win some more trophies again. So I am, along with my VP, we're trying to help the students again keep the momentum of the chapter growing and going. So we're very excited. And we also have a mentor program that they're mainly part of. This is my first year as a mentor. So it's different being on the other side because I was just a mentee last June. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a lot. I don't know what to tell you. Keep going. You're doing great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's very important to give back what I got. I think being part of the community and giving back is very important, especially for the incoming generation. We need more engineers. We need more people that like math and science, or that are just willing to try it out, And it's great fields within engineering and civil engineering itself. But in general, it's very important to give back to the community. And I feel like once you have graduated, try to stick with where you work, because someone tomorrow will be in your position and they might be going through the same thing that you went through, and they might have the same questions you had, but now that you've graduated, you went through the process, you're I got those answers, so you can help someone get those answers easily rather than having them struggle and go through the anxiety that you went through.
Exactly. The CUNY connection is amazing. I know that's how so many people get connections, and that's also how you got some of your connections as well. I know that. But I wanted to kind of move it over towards your now full-time job at Langan, and talking about the types of things that you're doing and what you like about that sort of position.
Sure. So I am in the Geotechnical department at Langan. It is an international company. We have offices all across the United States, in Middle East, Panama, London now, which is very exciting. And I did meet my current boss, as I was saying, 2 years ago, and in that office, so I was very familiar. And when I realized I wanted to do geotech, I was like, this is a great company. I've known her forever. I want to do more things on a bigger scale, and that's why I figured that Langan is a great choice for me to start my full-time job. And I am very happy with that decision because I'm learning something new every single day, and which is what I wanted. I want to grow as a person, as an engineer. I want to grow my career, and I feel like this is the right place. I'm learning and I'm doing things that I was like, I've never even thought about that. Who thinks about going into digging a hole into the ground and like figuring out what type of soil it is. I didn't know like you're supposed to do that before. So yeah, going out in the field, getting that experience, figuring out like what the foundation looks like, how you're supposed to draw it out, how to use CAD is an insane thing. And I was like, oh my God, like I was so scared of CAD when I was first starting. I would text my friend like, where is this line coming from? I don't know. And then now I'm like, oh my God, I really like CAD. I enjoy it because I learned how it works, and things are starting to make sense slowly once you like start to work more. But overall, it's a great company. I'm learning a lot, especially because I have that mentorship that I was always looking for. And I see things, I see faces that look like me, which is very important to me, because you do not see many women, because we're told engineering is a male-dominated industry. It is we don't see a lot of people of color, which is very important, or women of color is not, it's a long shot, you know? So you need to be able to see some representation, because how else would the younger generation come in?
Yeah.
So that's very important to me. I see people that look like me. So I was like, this is a great fit for me. I'm learning new things, and they're very patient with you. They teach you every single thing. They train you for a long time. We get trainings for everything, which is very exciting. And I'm working on a lot of different projects. I'm working on some public schools, and which is interesting because my first ever internship in high school was with the public school agency. So it was like a full circle moment for me, because now they're like the client that I'm working for. I'm
wow,
like, yeah.
That's so full circle. That you're able to make it all come back. So that's really wonderful that you're, one, being a leader, being a mentor, giving back to the community, and also kind of helping foster the next generation of engineers in whatever field that they decide to be in. Personally, that's not for me, but, I really applaud you for all the work that you do and everything that you've done so far.
Thank you.
But I want to ask, what advice would you give to the next generation if they're interested in being an engineer or not?
I would definitely tell you to try it out. Try out no matter what, just try it out. It doesn't hurt to try anything new. It's scary, but the main advice I especially have now is that if you're doing something, even if you're scared, do it scared. And put yourself out there. It doesn't hurt. You never know where opportunity might take you. But if you want to start out as an engineer, or especially if you're like very young, try a CT high school. That's my first thing. Try a CT high school. If you like Legos, it can take you further. It can take you further. I love Legos. I'm like, they're coming out with the new architecture Lego for the church in Spain, I think.
Oh my God. And
I'm like, this is insane. I need that. But yeah, so if you like Legos, they can take you further. You could be building a bridge. You never know. Try that. And maybe even like they have a lot of things online that you can do. And if you, especially in college, if you're good at math but you don't know what you want to do yet, try engineering. You never know. Take a class.
Yeah, might as well try it out. Okay, and the last thing that I have for you is, what would you recommend to students who aren't finding their right place in CUNY but are thinking about transferring to another school? Would you recommend CUNY?
I would definitely recommend CUNY. I would also say don't be afraid of change. Change is scary, but if you feel like some place is not for you, trust your gut. You never know where you might fit in and what other place can take you somewhere further. But I definitely recommend CUNY. CUNY's given me some great friends, great mentors, great connections, and especially being within the budget is great,
Yeah.
That's the best thing I would say. And being in New York City, like, it's great, like LaGuardia, I was by the water, and it was so nice. And then City Tech, I was by the water again. I'm like, oh, it's break. What should I do? I would go to Brooklyn Bridge Park. So the best thing ever.
Perfect.
Exactly. So, but don't be afraid of change. Put yourself out there. Talk to other people at other colleges. Try taking a tour. They do that. Like, just reach out, but definitely reach out to other students. Like, we're all struggling. We're all in the same community. We're all part of the same community. We're all going through the same thing. It doesn't hurt to reach out. Put yourself out there, even though it's scary. But you got to do it scared.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Ritika. I appreciate you taking all the time, and I'm excited for what you're doing and what you're helping the next generation do in terms of engineering a better New York City.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again. It was great. Yeah.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to check out CUNY Uncut on social media and make sure to download the CUNY TV app. And as always, I'm your host, David Horn, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.